Welcome back to another Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning we go through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video, and one person's question will help me make the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your questions down below for a chance to be in next week's video, and if I did comment to you saying great question, I might use this and I didn't, please drop that same question again and put repeat question to get moved to the top. And I'm not saying I'm some guru who just knows everything, but when I'm unsure, I always like to talk it out with a few people. It always helps me make my final decision. And I have been in the hobby since it started in 1999. So I've been here for a while. And we do have to do the question of the day. What Pokemon do you guys like better, Ho-Oh or Moltres? I think I got to go with Ho-Oh on that one. And also, this Sunday, May 17th, 1 p.m. Pacific time, we are hosting a poker tournament with the World Poker Tour. It's just a $5 donation to enter, and all that money goes directly to Avery and his amazing family to help with his content. If you guys do not know who Avery is, he has terminal cancer, and one of the best kids I've ever met, and his content is amazing. But you guys can win some crazy cards. Even if you beat me, you get to win a card. These are some of the cards we're giving away. We got a Destin Rivals Mewtwo in a 10 and a Cynthia's Garchomp in a 10. So definitely check that out. I'll have all the links in the description. And we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is ARIZONATCG. If you guys have some graded cards you're looking to sell and you guys do not want to deal with a bunch of people lowballing you, or you having to ship cards out every other day, ARIZONATCG is perfect, and honestly is now a great time to sell your cards when everything is at the absolute top. But they take PSA, CGC, Beckett, Pokemon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh! It does not matter. They take professional scans and they post it to their massive weekly eBay auctions. And these are one of the best priced consignment services online. So definitely check them out. I'll have all the links in the description. Then, of course, you guys want to try out tag grading. 10% off your first submission. Use code BEARD10. And same thing with PSA. Use code BEARD25. Get $25 off your first submission. I'll have all the links in the description. But all right, first question is from @SilentTrainerRed. Hey, Beard, in the past, there was a general rule of thumb to wait about a year after the set release to start buying singles from the set. The past year has thrown this mantra out the window, with cards starting to see price spikes much sooner than in the past. How has the recent market spike changed? How long you generally wait to buy singles from a set? So yeah, back in the day, you just always wait basically as long as possible, and you could just get the card way cheaper. But now it is completely different. So what I've been doing is, whenever I feel like a card is undervalued, after the first week or two when the set is out, I'm going to start picking it up. Like the Team Rockets Mewtwo, I even made a video about this, how I thought it was very undervalued at $279. You know, it started out at $336 because we're still going to have that little dip because obviously pre-sales are going to be so much higher. But as soon as it dips and gets to a price that you feel like is decent, I would honestly recommend picking it up. But yeah, I said 50 different times at $270, $280, this card was pretty undervalued. And that's when I got mine. And it's honestly one of the few new SIRs that I bought that's actually pretty expensive. I normally like to wait as long as possible, but nowadays you could really miss out doing that. Now, of course, be careful. Don't buy them when they're just at their absolute top. But like I said, like right here, went from $330 down to $279, then it got all the way up to $493 and leveling out right around $480. Here's the Pikachu. Started out at about $400 on the 2nd to the 8th, and then right here, February 23rd through March 1st, it was at $320 to about $340, and then went crazy. So I'm going to be, waiting for that first initial dip, because we're going to get that, because like I said, pre-release prices are just crazy. And once it levels out a little bit, and I feel like it's kind of undervalued, I'm going to start picking them up, especially popular Pokemon like Mewtwo, Pikachu. So yeah, I'm basically just going to go with whatever I feel like is pretty underrated compared to the rest of the cards that we have, in this era. And, we got the Team Rockets Mewtwo from Destin Rivals. Started out at $333, got up to $397, dropped back down to $340, and then went crazy, went all the way up to $583, and then dropped right back down at $349, and it went right back up. That's another reason why I always say, too, buy the dips, especially in this market. You got to buy the dips because you're going to regret it. Next, we have the Mega Charizard X. Started out at $781. We had sales at $900 and $1,000. Dropped all the way down to $400. Doesn't say it here, but we had sales at like $420. We even had a couple at like $390. And then it went crazy. $880. But if you were to compare this card when it was $400 to the rest of the SIRs at $400, I feel like this card beats a lot of the SIRs. I think it's way better than like the Greninja from Twilight and, the Pikachu from Surging Sparks. But people were so worried that the set was so small that this will get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I even had other content creators make videos saying that this is going to be dirt cheap, and I even argued a couple of them, and I was correct because this card went absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's just a feeling thing now, and you just got to compare it to the rest of the market. But yeah, I kind of miss the old days when you could just wait as long as possible and you could pick them up super, super cheap. Next is from @JakeSkew. Hey PokeBeard, I personally think the official Pokemon metal cards look and feel so cool. There are only 6 of them, so I'm trying to get all of them before they get too crazy. Do you think the metal card subset is a good play long term? Thank you so much for all the advice and hope to meet you one day. I love the metal cards. Always been a massive fan of the metal cards. I honestly feel like they're one of the most premium cards we've ever gotten. Like when you actually hold one, it just feels crazy. Kids absolutely love them too. And yeah, I think they're super unique and pretty undervalued. The Charizard and Pikachu are finally getting some love. Market price $253 for the metal Charizard and the metal Pikachu at $148. And the Mew too from $151, market price $42. I feel like that's still even a little bit undervalued. But I love to collect the stuff that a lot of people do not like to collect, because a lot of times they do pop off in the future. So I think that is a great idea to collect all of these metal cards for sure. Next is from AO Famousa. I probably butchered that. Hi Tucker, I'm seeking the wisdom of the beard. I have 1 extra each of Crown Zenith Gold, Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia. I still have my master set. Would you sell them now or hold on to them long term? So it is a great time to sell stuff when everything is at the absolute top. But I could see a world where these cards get a little bit more expensive. I can't see much more. I could maybe see the Giratina at like $300 or $350. The Arceus at $220. The Dialga and Palkia closer to $200. But Crown Zenith has super easy pull rates. There's actually a ton of these cards. We basically mastered our Crown Zenith set by pulling it. We only had to buy a couple cards, which is just crazy to do because we really didn't open up that much stuff. So I'm always a little bit weary on like the Galarian Gallery cards, the Trainer Gallery cards, because those would be the cards that would drop in price a lot quicker than, let's say, an alternate art, which is, 10 times harder to pull than these cards. But like I said, if you could turn these cards into something else that you really, really like and they're just doubles, that is a great thing to do. And that's why I love getting doubles too. So that way I can, pick some stuff up that I feel like is undervalued. It goes up in value. Then I can trade it for something that maybe I couldn't afford before, or something that was just a little too expensive. Yeah, not bad. Next is from that Cool Guy Eve. Also, I had a ton of repeat questions, so I had to skip some repeat questions. So just drop it again. Maybe put like a number 2 or something, and I'll get to them. But this is from Cool Guy Eve. Hey Beard, what do you think about the Regidrago V from Silver Tempest with the Lugia in the background? Seems like a super clean card with the added benefit of the Lugia making an appearance. Seems super underrated to me. I agree. I've always loved this card, and having Lugia in the background just makes it top tier. Let's see here. It got up to $29, dropped down to $16. Right now sitting around $22, $23. I think this should be a $50 card. I know Regidrago's not the most popular, but like I said, having that Lugia in the background, I do think it makes the card kind of special, especially in an alternate art that is very difficult to pull. Next is from @PokeGov. At what point do you think the yellow borders across arrows start to get some love? The Evolution Trainer Gallery yellow borders have a much lower pop and look great in my opinion. The Crown Zenith Lapras compared to Destined Rivals, the Cosmic Eclipse Secret Rares and X5 promos. They seem like a great investment to me. What do you think? I agree. I love a lot of those Crown Zenith cards and the Galarian Gallery cards. Like the Crown Zenith Lapras is my favorite Lapras that we've gotten so far. And I love everything from Cosmic Eclipse and the XY promos. You literally cannot go wrong with that. Just that a lot of the newer people, they don't really like the yellow border because they're not really used to it. And I mean, I totally get it. If you start out with 151 and every single set you have has those, silver borders, you might think the yellow borders look a little strange. But still, we're going to have a ton of people that love collecting that stuff. And in my opinion, I don't really care about the borders. Yellow, silver, make them purple. I don't really care. I just like the actual art of the card. Next is from @ApexZ. Hey Beard, what are your thoughts on the first partner illustration promos? I bought the Gen 1 starters for $100 total. I think this was a mistake as they came out and might drop, but I'm not exactly sure. Was this an okay pickup? How do you think these will do long term? Thanks. It all depends on reprints. But I think you're fine. They might drop a little bit to where you lost a little bit of money, but after a while, when we, are pretty sure we're not going to get any more reprinted, I think those cards will go crazy, especially the Gen 1s. I think I bought like maybe 6 different sets of Gen 1, and then I bought like 100 sets of the other ones because they're all like $5. But I just went a little light on the Gen 1s because I do think they will drop a little bit more. But like I said, not very much at all. Next is from @Clinton Wall. Hey Beard, with sealed products so hard to find, I recently started and finished an English Grandmaster set of my favorite Pokemon, Hawlucha. Every regular, holo, EX, promo, stamp, etc. And I'm looking to do this for a few more Pokemon. Are there any underappreciated and cool Pokemon you feel would be worth completing a set like this for? Thanks. So what I would do is I would look at every single generation, make a big list. Do your top 10 or top 15 or even top 20 favorite Pokemon from each generation, and then get it down to like your top 10, your top 5, your top 3, and then your favorite one. And honestly, I would pick from one of your favorites, and you're going to enjoy that a lot more than picking a random one that I would choose, because I'd probably choose, like, I still feel like Arceus is one of the most underrated Pokemon in all Pokemon history. He doesn't even have that many cards. It would actually be pretty easy to complete. He just has the one expensive, ADP card. That's what I would do, but I would definitely suggest, doing your favorite Pokemon. It's just going to make it so much more fun. Next is from Lion Den Collecting. You mentioned you'll never sell Ascended Heroes, Team Up, and Evolving Skies. Why not Prismatic? It has every evolution. Eevee has a SIR, which you yourself admitted it bugs you that Evolving Skies does not have every evolution. Roaring Moon is a Shinji artwork, and there's also a gold Pikachu in the set. I honestly probably wouldn't sell Prismatic Evolutions either. I just like Ascended Heroes so much more. All around, it's a much better set. It really bugs me that Prismatic has no illustration rares. Like, that truly, truly bugs me. I know it has Master Balls, but I do not care about them nearly as much as illustration rares. And then another thing that really bugs me about Prismatic is every single Pokemon basically that we got an SIR of, besides the evolutions, we already got an SIR earlier of them in the Scarlet and Violet era. So that's another thing that really, really bugs me. Then also every evolution has the crowns, which some don't bug me, some do, some look weird, and half the hobby doesn't like the crowns, the other half does. So I just don't like it as much as Ascended Heroes and Evolving Skies and Team Up, but it is literally right there. And like I said, I probably wouldn't sell Prismatic Evolutions either unless I got a ton of them. You really cannot go wrong going with evolutions. But all right, next question is from Fisherman84. I traded a basic Evolving ETB for an Ascended Heroes Pokemon Center. What are your thoughts? Worth it? I am okay with that, because you're getting that Pokemon Center. I'm sure there's going to be less of those than what we actually got for Evolving Skies ETBs. Because the Pokemon Center ones, they're the only limited English product that we even really get. And there is Evolving Skies ETBs everywhere for a long time. I still remember getting a bunch, on the shelf. Next is from Ferguson. Mighty Mr. Beard. I'm looking to trade some sealed and low-end singles for things I'm more interested in. Would you recommend me trading at 60-80% at my local card shop, or try to buy a vendor table at a nearby show? I've never vended before. Thank you for your never-ending knowledge, your loyal viewer. Thank you so much. So, if you got the time and you're not super busy, I recommend vending. You're not going to just sell out right away. You're not going to do crazy good right away. But it is such a fun experience, and you're going to meet a ton of people, and it's going to open your eyes up. There's so many people that have asked me this question. They're like, yeah, I decided to go vend. And then I see them 3 or 6 months later, and they're full out vending, and they have, $50,000 worth of cards at their tables. So I would just try it. Worst case scenario, you hate it, and then you go sell to your card shop. I would not do 60%. That's pretty low. I would never take anything less than 70 or 75%. And that's still got to be for like maybe some lower end stuff, or not the most popular stuff, or maybe stuff that's a little bit more moderately played, stuff that's maybe damaged. And then for that nice stuff, of course, try to get to at least 80%. But if it were me, I would definitely go try vending. It's honestly super fun. Next is from Trav808. What's your favorite SIR? Can't wait for a Gyarados one. Man, the Gyarados SIR would go insane right now. I would love to have that. It's a toss-up for me. The Mega Charizard X is probably the best Charizard we've ever gotten. But I think the Ethan's Ho-Oh could possibly be the most beautiful SIR in my opinion. Like, when I look at it, it like calms me down, which is crazy that a card can even do that. But to me, it's just so nostalgic and peaceful that I'd probably have to go with the Ethan's Ho-Oh. Next is from Spicy Slug 253. What do you think about Rudy's take on the Pokemon hobby that Sword and Shield is a must-buy right now? Yeah, I think Sword and Shield is severely undervalued compared to the Scarlet and Violet era. A lot of the stuff, we're still going to get some reprints, even though the reprints haven't been doing anything. But like, for Stellar Crown to be $50 cheaper than Astral Radiance is kind of crazy when you think about it. And a lot of those ETBs I still feel like are pretty undervalued, even though they're going up every single week. That's why I was telling everybody to buy them at 100 and 120 and 150, and now they're just keep climbing. But yeah, I totally agree with that take. Next is from that Cool Arrow. I know you're a position on master sets, but are there any sets that you do have master sets of or would like to have of? So I actually have a ton of master sets. I have every single set mastered for the first 3 generations and first edition, Shadowless, and Unlimited. Even have all the top stuff mastered, and the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos. And then from there, I really only like doing master sets of smaller things. So like Crown Zenith, one of the best looking sets of all time, mastered that. Celebrations, mastered that. And then from there, I basically just collected, every single alternate art, trainer gallery card. And then for the mid-era stuff, I got all the prime cards, the legend cards, the EX cards, the level X cards. That way it makes it so much more realistic to actually collect everything, and you're collecting the coolest cards from the set, the ones that you probably like the most, and you're not spending a ton of money on cards you might not like the best. But yeah, I have a ton of master sets, and like I said, the smaller stuff is great. Like, this is one of my favorite binders. This is what I kind of call like just the left out binder that people didn't really care about. But if you look, you know, some of these sets are going crazy. So I got all the break cards, and I have 4 of these binders that are exactly the same. Then from there, I got the Cosmic Eclipse Trainer Gallery cards, kind of hard to see. And then from there, I got, you know, the Shining cards from Shining Legends. Just collected the Shinings. And then, you know, Radiant Collection. Radiant Collection used to be so cheap, and now it's just so expensive. And that's why I like collecting stuff, you know, that I like. Because you never know, one day in the future they might pop off. Let's see what else we got. Another Radiant Collection. The other one. With the beautiful Mew. And then we even have like Prism cards. So like I said, I have 4 of these binders exactly the same. But I love collecting stuff like that. And like I said, it just saves so much money. But yeah, I love the small stuff. So like when the 30th anniversary set comes out, I will definitely be mastering that. But yeah, I even have like a master set of Shadowless base sets sitting here, which is just sick. I really feel like Shadowless is just undervalued compared to first edition. But my super, super high-end stuff I don't keep at the house. But yeah, I love it. Just try to be careful and really think about what you want in your favorite type of cards. Like, if you just like gold cards, just collect the gold cards. You do not have to do these full master sets and spend all that money. But all right, next question is from @YoYoCK5QZ. Thoughts on a potential trade? My Ascended Heroes Pokemon Center ETB with a small tear, 4 Destined Rivals PC ETB, or White and Black PC ETB. Which one would you choose, or keep the Ascended Heroes PC ETB? I'd probably go with the Destined Rivals PC ETB if I were to trade. Next is from @HarleyPrice777. Will I be able to sell my collection vending in 5 years? Pokeani told me vending won't be around in 5 years in his comment section. So, in my opinion, no one really knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years. I think he also said that Mega Evolution was going to crash the market, and that never happened. So, you know, people can definitely get this stuff wrong. And I really feel like people think card shows just happened in the last couple of years. I have been going to card shows my entire life. It's funny, I've been going to the same vendor since I was a little kid. He was my dad's friend, and he is still a vendor to this day, and I always go say what's up and, you know, chat with him. He has sold me insane cards way back in the day that I still have that are worth so much money now, and we always, you know, chit-chat about that. But the card shows back then weren't nearly as big, or they were at like flea markets and stuff like that, but there's been card shows forever. So vending will not go away, but if the market does truly cool off, I could definitely see maybe like 60 or 70% of all card shows just disappearing, and same with, you know, 60 or 70% of vendors, because it's going to be way tougher for you guys to sell your cards. There's going to be so many vendors and so many shows, and if the market cools off, there's not going to be nearly as many people to sell to them. But I do think you will be able to sell your collection in 5 years. It just might be a little bit tougher if the market is truly cooled off, but no one knows. No one was going to guess the Scarlet and Violet era was going to take off. Like, literally no one. So, yeah, just keep sticking with what you're doing and just be smart with your money and do not overspend, because as long as you get stuff at the bottom, you really cannot go wrong. Next is from @3iDimensions. I've been hunting for clean copies of cards on eBay, TCG to potentially send to PSA. Am I just wasting my time because I feel like if the card was clean enough, the person would just send it in themselves? Like, if they had 10 copies, they'll sell that 5 that are considered near mint but ungradable. What's the sweet sauce to find ungraded to send in? Just pulling it yourself? Thank you, Beard. So, I mean, pulling it yourself, you have a good chance, but I really like to look at the seller. If the seller does not have any graded cards, they probably don't grade. And people think everybody grades. A lot of people are lazy, and a lot of people do not have money. And if you go buy a big $1,000 or $2,000 collection, they want to sell that right away. They don't want to wait, 8 months or 6 months to get their cards back. So you really got to look at the seller. And if they're selling a ton of graded cards, odds are they probably grade. And that's why I actually look at a lot of newer sellers, especially on eBay, because if they, screw you over, eBay almost always sides with the buyer. So I'm not worried at all. I literally just bought a card where the guy never even shipped it out. eBay immediately refunded my money as soon as I, did the claim. And then also check newly listed when you're looking on eBay, because people do put clean copies up where they even say PSA 10 potential and they charge a little bit more, but they are super clean. They just don't have the time to get it graded, or they need the money right now. But yeah, never underestimate how broke people really are and how bad they need that money and how quick they want that money. So just keep searching, and I promise you will find some. Last is from @Cascadia_TCG. I found myself in a dilemma and asked myself, what would PokeBeard do? WWPBD. I like that. I made a prearranged deal with my LCS for sealed cases of Ascended booster bundles. I traded $1,300 of sealed product. My original cost was $700. I have a strong desire to sell enough to get my investment back and rip the rest. Should I just keep this sealed since it's a premium product that'll be hard to come by in a few years? I'm concerned about the growth of booster bundles being slow and volatile. I definitely would just keep that thing sealed. I would not open it. I mean, odds are you probably won't pull anything. You could pull something, but I always like to look at the odds, and odds are you're not going to really get much. You're going to lose out on a ton of money. So I do have a pretty strong feeling you're going to be very happy you kept that thing sealed in the next couple of years, especially wait till Ascendant Heroes actually goes out of print. I think it'll be absolutely crazy. But all right, that was today's Pokemon What If Wednesday. If you guys like this content, want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, check out my Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, YouTube membership, all that. You guys know what to do. You guys are the absolute best. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. If you guys can do me a massive favor and watch my newest vending video that I just dropped, leave a like, comment. I mean, we're doing a giveaway in there too. Give it some hype points. I would really appreciate that. You guys can also check out my other vending content. It would really mean a ton if you guys could do that. But all right, we'll see you next time.